Hansi Flick, Hansi Big D Flick. Hello everyone, welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. So this is going to be an interesting video because it's going to be looking at the transfer stories from the manager's perspective. Hansi Big... yeah, let's not say those words. He might be watching this. If he's watching this, get out. Stop watching this. Go work on tactics or something. But I want to talk about these transfers. Based off what Hansi Flick has said over the last few weeks, and just off the developments and what he said about players at our clubs, his transfer demands. I want to make one video about it where we can talk about his transfer demands. But let me talk about something real quick. Before Hansi Flick got the full-time job, we constantly got reports from all these news sources saying the exact same thing, and that was that Hansi Flick wanted veto power over the transfers. So that meant that if the Bayern board decided to draft up a player and research a player, scout a player, and Hansi Flick said no, it would not happen. It's the same way in the US. If Congress makes a law, write it down and give it to Trump, Trump can be like, you know what, bang, I like this. Or he can just rip the law apart and say this isn't it, this ain't good. So that's exactly what Hansi Flick technically has, because he demanded the veto power, and I think he got it. That could also mean he could demand players, but we'll talk about that in a different video, because we know Bayern's board don't really back our managers. Did Kovac get backed? You could argue. I didn't like Kovac. I didn't think he was a good manager at any point in his Bayern career. He won a double and I still wanted him gone because it was boring to watch. But did he get backed the way you would say a Pep Guardiola would get backed at Bayern, or a Pep Guardiola would get backed the City? No, you can't argue it. Did Carlo Ancelotti get back that much? You could also say no to that and find reasons to. So our board isn't really known for backing managers like that. Because, I mean, technically we don't always need an overhaul of new players and selling 10 players. But it depends. So, the first demand for Flick is to keep Thiago. Thiago has been a quintessential part since Hansi Flick took over. With Goretzka getting a lot of injuries, it meant that we only had Thiago and Kimmich. And since then, I'd say Thiago has been, for me, technically, I think Thiago is our best player in the club, like technical ability-wise. No one comes close to him. The only one that comes close to him is Robert Lewandowski, and he's a striker. People are like, oh, Lewandowski has technical, Lewandowski has tech. Oh, techie tech, code. This guy could take free kick. He could do anything he wants on the pitch as long as he puts his mind to it. I have a dream that one day Lewandowski can do anything he puts his mind, whatever. But Thiago, keep Thiago. Flick has been saying over the last few press conferences that Thiago is a player that any manager would absolutely die to have. They would absolutely sleep with a man to have. Thiago is absolutely quintessential to Hansi Flick's philosophy. And Hansi Flick has said the emergence of Goretzka and Kimmich won't affect Thiago's playtime, which is something that a lot of you were saying. And I said too, because Goretzka, you can't drop Goretzka. But maybe Hansi Flick has a different idea in mind. Maybe he wants to play a 10-man midfield and fit all our midfielders in there. But at the same time, you have 50 games a season if you count in the Champions League, and get to at least the semi-final if you count in the fact that you could probably win the Champions League. You have so many games. I think you can't play everyone in the same games. When the Champions League returns and we're playing games every 5 days, we're not going to play the same exact 11. We might even pick up injuries, and that's where we could have different players. And those players have different abilities that they bring into the team. So keeping Thiago has been something that Hansi Flick has been hinting at. That means that's his demand. He wants Thiago to stay. If Bayern don't keep Thiago, they did not back the manager's decision. If Bayern don't keep Thiago because they don't want to pay an extra 10k a week for him, nice. If Bayern don't want to keep Thiago because they don't want to pay an extra 10k for a week for him, that's absolutely the decision of the board, and it won't be something that I'd say Hansi Flick would like. It won't be something that I'd say Hansi Flick would like, because as a manager, you want to be better. God, what's wrong with me today? Not me, this light. Okay. As a manager, you want your players. 2, keep David Alaba. Alaba is absolutely superb. God damn it. This video is going up. I'm not cutting this. God, what's going on? It's usually the other light that flicks. Hansi Flick. All right. Oh my goodness. So, keep David Alaba. Alaba has been a superb player in the club. I think he's our best left back of all time. I think Alaba already has that status. But Alaba could leave. Alaba's 28 years old. It's different from Thiago. He has 2 more years to be 30. Thiago has a year. And I think keeping Alaba is absolutely, you have to. Of course, a lot of you can say, well, we have Lucas Hernandez and Davies. No, we need depth. We don't have ballers everywhere. We need players that are like Alaba. And Alaba is so crucial to how Hansi Flick plays. I think Bayern would rather let Alaba run down his contract than see him go for free than actually sell him. And I think that's how the club should think. But at the same time, Hansi Flick wants to keep Alaba for the medium term, not long term, because long term is 5+ years. Alaba's going to be 34 in 5 years, so it's not something that we should be looking at. But Hansi Flick does want to keep Alaba, and I think if the club don't keep Alaba, or if the board don't do what it takes to keep David Alaba at the club longer, then you have not backed the manager. So that's another transfer demand. Keep Alaba and Thiago. Improve squad depth through selling. How many players do we have that we can both say, you and I, it depends who you are, you can say, you know what, Tolisso is the greatest midfielder we've ever had. Some of you think that. Some people act like that's the situation with Tolisso. He's our legend. But if Bayern don't sell Tolisso and keep him in the squad, that is called deadwood. That is a player that doesn't really offer you stuff. The player that gets injured a lot. That's called deadwood. The same situation with maybe a Javi Martinez. Javi's been a great, fantastic servant of the club. He's done so much for the club. But right now, he is deadwood. He gets a lot of injuries. He sits on the bench. And that bench position could be given to someone with less experience, but also more long-termism. And that's a situation where you look at and you're like, well, Tanguy Kausi's coming in. He can play CDM, almost a Javi Martinez-esque CDM. So maybe he should come in and sit on the bench where Javi would have sat. And therefore, we should sell Javi Martinez. So once again, you improve squad depth through selling. Ulreich is another one where you're like, well, Newbell's coming in. He doesn't want to go on loan. Bayern don't want to loan out Newbell. So therefore, Fruchtau either has to go out on loan for 10 years or actually just leave and get sold. And Bayern will probably not ask money for him based off the sources. Bayern won't demand money from Schalke if that's the case. So there you go. Once again, you're improving squad depth by selling players, by letting go of some players. You look at that center back position, Boateng. With Kausi coming in, Boateng won't get as many minutes. You need money for other transfers. So therefore, selling Boateng and then funneling that money into other transfers only makes sense. Right now, with the performances he's been having, Boateng could go to a PSG and he would cost and they'd pay us about 15 million for him based off his performances right now. I mean, with our board, we'd probably squeeze 30 million out of the Boateng deal. We could literally get that much for Boateng. But it depends whether or not Bayern are willing to just let go of Boateng like that. But it's another way of backing the manager. You're selling a player and improving squad depth. Selling Boateng would be good because it gives us an extra 15+ million to work with. But at the same time, it means his bench position can be taken by a Tanguy Kausi, but it could also be taken by Chris Richards, and therefore you have a younger bench. Usually a lot of teams have quality on the bench, but they should have experience. But the thing with Bayern is, we do have experience. Neuer is one of the greatest goalkeepers. Actually, he is the greatest goalkeeper to play the game. Müller is one of the greatest, Ram de Teurs. He's the only great Ram de Teurs. There's other players that are like him, but he's the greatest. We have the experience. We have World Cup winners, Champions League serial winners. We have players that have done it in every stage of world football. We have players that have led their national teams to trophies. Pavard is a World Cup winner. So is Lucas Hernandez. So is Boateng. So is Manuel Neuer. So is Thomas Müller. So is Serge Gnabry. He didn't win the World Cup. I'm just joking. Because he would have been 17 by that World Cup team. He would have been in a youth academy. Same with Kimmich. So, once again, Hansi's demand is improved squad depth through selling. Because over the last few weeks, he has said there will be obvious departures. With Coutinho, Perisic, and also Odriozola leaving, we get into our actual transfer demands. Get Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is German, 21 years old. He's generational. A lot of people keep telling me this. Well, look, you can get this guy. You can get this guy. He's cheap. That's not necessarily all we're getting Havertz for. We could get Havertz and he's crap. But what Havertz is, he's a statement signing. What's the statement signing, George? Ich bin, what's the statement signing, mashallah? That's what the Germans are asking me now. What's a statement signing? Well, let me tell you what a statement signing is. A statement signing is when assigning a player correlates with a statement you're trying to tell everyone else. If you sign, who's a crap player? Skodran Mustafi from Arsenal. Your statement is that we want to get relegated to the Bundesliga, to the Region Liga. You're getting relegated with Mustafi for Bayern. That's your statement. You're getting relegated. You want to get relegated. It's not like you're getting relegated. You want to. That's your statement signing Mustafi. When you sign Kai Havertz, future German international, one of the greatest players potentially in the next 10 years. You're signing, and your statement signing, your statement in that situation is, we will kill all of Europe for the next 10 years. We will dominate football for the next 10 years. That's your statement signing when you're signing a Kai Havertz. Your statement signing maybe someone for 40 million, maybe a Martin Odegaard, is that, hey, we're signing a good player that could be good. Havertz is already there at 21 years old. What does this guy have to improve? His awareness on the pitch? No, because he's one of the smartest players in the league. His finishing? No, because he's one of the most clinical central attacking midfielders with like 16 goals this season. His passing? No, because he got a lot of assists and he's improving constantly. He can improve, but there's nothing that I look at Havertz and I'm like, he's trash at doing. Maybe someone might say, oh, his physical attributes aren't there. He isn't strong. That's a point. But is that what we're buying him for? We're not buying him to be killing players and breaking ankles. Well, we do want him to break ankles, just in a different way. Leroy Sané. Get Leroy Sané. That's another demand. Hansi did say it in an interview a few weeks ago. He said, we want width. Bayern need width. We need width with pace. He said right back or winger. For me, I always say Pavard isn't good going forward. He is solid defensively, does what he needs to do, but he isn't good at anything attacking-wise. He isn't like overly gifted at some things attacking-wise, and also in a little bit of just his overall game. He ain't fast. If Pavard had a little bit more pace, an extra 10 pace on FIFA, he'd be the greatest right back in the world. He's okay going forward, but average going forward. But if you get Sané, you don't need to worry about no Pavard and his attacking qualities. You can just have a winger that can attack. The thing is, with you have to look at Pavard's situation. He's having to overlap for Kingsley Coman. That's dead. Like, you need ballers. You need a baller, man. If Pavard had literally Leroy Sané on that right hand side or Kai Havertz, he would be cold. Like he could just sit back, Pavard. He don't even need to overlap. Sané will overlap himself. He will push the ball past the opposition and go overlap himself. That's the type of pace we're talking about. So will Kai Havertz. Havertz is rapid. So for me, if we think about Pavard and we say he isn't good at attacking, he's okay at everything and most things, he can just sit back, relax, Netflix and chill, watch the French national team World Cup song. Ramène la coupe à la maison, Benjamin Pavard, on est ensemble. Ooh. He can just listen to that at the back because he just sit back and commentate because there's no reason for him to be marauding forward when Leroy Sané getting you 20 goals, 20 assists a season almost, and Kai Havertz is getting you 25 goals and 15 assists a season. You know what I mean? When you have ballers in front of you, and when you have a baller on that right-hand side, Kingsley Coman can't put in a cross to save his life. So it would look like Pavard is just crap. That right-hand side is dead. Our right-hand side is dead. We use our left a lot. Davies. Every single goal we scored against Chelsea came off our left. We didn't have anything down that right-hand side. Our right-hand side is dead like my freaking nan. My nans, okay? I don't even say nan. It's grandma, but the British say nans. And I'm watching a lot of British YouTubers, so I'm starting to sound like them. But that's what I mean. When you have a baller right next to Pavard, he ain't gonna look terrible attacking wise. All of a sudden, Pavard is getting 5 assists a season, and he's just gonna chill and do the defensive work that he's known for. And that's the thing. It will also mean that we don't have to rely so much on Davies and Gnabry. We don't have to because we have these ballers on the right-hand side. All of a sudden, teams are, on Alphonso Davies' side. You switch over Pavard, and then they're like, Pavard who? And then he passes to Sané, and then they're like, damn, a baller, damn. And then the same thing, everyone's on Davies' side trying to make sure Alphonso Davies is kept quiet. We switch over, ball to Pavard. They're like, who's that? Who's this guy? This French guy. You won the World Cup? Wow, cool. And then Pavard passes to Havertz, and Havertz's vision, all the game's open in front of you. Where you have ballers everywhere, man. Oh my God, we're gonna have more balls in the freaking cake party. Like it's just gonna be what it is, isn't it? Get a fast right back up. I mean, we still do need a backup right back. I'm not sure if it's Sergino Dest. The guy's arrogant as hell. I don't like that. I don't know if that's just what Ajax fans don't like about him, but did you hear his interview? He was like, I'm so glad I'm worth 50 billion. Like, I want to be the most expensive right back ever. Bro, shut up. Like, you're American. No one cares. Actually, he's not American. For all you people that think that's an American attitude. He grew up in the Netherlands, was born in the Netherlands. His dad was from the United States. He chose the United States because he knew he wasn't a baller enough to get into the Netherlands national team. Because the Netherlands national team is cold. All right, potential backup striker. This is going to sound stupid, and please don't quote me on this. I think Hansi Flick said it at some point that Timo Werner was a good player, and he could imagine Bayern playing a two-striker formation. I don't think we wanted Werner, and that was even after our board members came out and said, we don't want Timo Werner, and we never wanted Werner. If we did, we would have signed him for 25 million last year, but we never wanted Timo Werner. And I think that's where we're at this stage in time. I think that's the situation at Bayern. We could still have a backup striker. That's why I said potential backup striker. Hansi Flick could want a potential backup striker, and that's the thing. I don't think it will happen. I think Robert Lewandowski is probably that guy that's like injured, and he's like, Hansi, do I still have my spot in the team? Hansi, do I still have my spot in the team? Next day, Hansi, do I still have my spot in the team? Robert Lewandowski just strikes me as that guy. Like, he's just constantly barraging you, making sure he still has a spot if he's injured. If he's knocked out for one game, Lewandowski's going to be back. Like, he could be injured for 5 months and he's back in 5 days. That's what Lewandowski's on. This guy is such a cultured, like, he's just so hardworking, man. The guy is like constantly doing ab workouts. It just makes me feel bad because I'm not doing anything exercising-wise. I used to do push-ups, but now I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. So for me, I think, yeah, backup striker could probably make sense. But with Zagzi and Jan Teki feet up, we don't really need anyone else, do we? So, I'm not exactly sure. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. But thank you. Actually, if you watched to this point, say Mia-san Flick. Yeah, say Mia-san Flick. We are Hansi Flick. Yeah, say that. Mia-san Flick. Hashtag Mia-san Flick. Say it in the comments so I know you watched to this point. But thank you everyone so much. We're constantly growing. The channel and the community is growing. So thank you everyone so much for watching this. Mia-san Mia and peace. Ooh, can't wait for this Pokal game. It feels like a long... Oh man, the Bundesliga is over. And the Champions League isn't back until August. Oh jeez. That's going to be when school's back. But I have plans of how I'm going to keep doing the channel regularly. And every single day, the same rate. I just have to figure it out sooner rather than later. Yep, I'm gone. I mean, I got a car recently, so that would probably help. A sick car too. Very nice car. My car. No one's car. My car. No one owns that car. I own that car.